Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. I wish you could taste it, but you should make it at home so you can. Hey my friends, welcome back to my kitchen. In this video, we're gonna have some fun with the Cosori TurboBlaze 6-quart air fryer. Now, one of the things that they tout about this air fryer is that it's supposed to be faster and more accurate in cooking because of some adjustments that they've made with the fan speed, some really technical talk that I don't really understand, but I can't wait to see how this compares to my current favorite air fryer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook some delicious and juicy and savory chicken breasts in the Cosori and in my current favorite air fryer and see if it's quicker and more accurate. We're also gonna broil some delicious garlic Parmesan toast. We're gonna roast some delicious vegetables, and we're gonna see how it does with your typical chicken nuggets and frozen French fries. And then at the end of this video, we're gonna do an experiment that I'm really excited about. I've never seen anybody do this in an air fryer before, but the Cosori cookbook shows you how to do it, and I can't wait to see if it actually works. But first, we gotta get this thing out of the box. And I do wanna tell you that Cosori sent me this air fryer free of charge with the agreement that in this video, I can be completely honest about my experience in using it. So first thing is first, there's a nice little packet right here. This has the Cosori cookbook. We do have a guide sticker just in case you wanna throw this on your Cosori air fryer. Of course, you got a user manual. Now right on the top of this, we do have the frying tray right here. All right, come to Papa. Ooh, it's pretty lightweight. Let's get it out of this plastic and reveal its true identity. All right. Voila! One thing that I do love about this already is the size and the placement of the controls. It feels very natural to be able to see in a standing position. Power her up. Do 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 do. Now, this is a nice sized drawer, of course. This is a 6-quart sized air fryer. Currently, the air fryer that I use is 2 small side-by-side baskets. I haven't often used a large basket like this, so this is gonna be fun to try it out. Let's go ahead and put the tray inside of the fryer basket. That fits really nice and snug. They do put those rubber feet on it so that when you tip it over, hopefully it doesn't come out. The other thing that I'm noticing is a safety feature right here. This is something that I don't see very often on other air fryers. In order to pull the basket out, you have to push this release button and pull the basket out just like that. The power button right here is lightly illuminated in orange. Ooh, I love that it's not a really loud alarming beep when you push it. Some of these air fryers get obnoxiously loud. So obviously right here you have the temperature 385. You have the time to cook. This is really cool. So many air fryers only have preset buttons. You don't know what temperature it's cooking at. And if you have something that you're not quite sure what temperature or what preset you should use to cook it, it makes it really difficult to get it right. So you can use presets on this, or you can simply select your temperature and your time to cook and hit start, and you're golden, you're running. Oh, wow. What a whisper. So a couple of other settings. You have a preheat setting. Now, notice here on the LED panel right here, we have fan speed. This is what they say gives it such an edge in cooking with this thing, to be able to fine tune exactly what it is that you're cooking and cook it really well. Now, what you'll notice as you touch these presets, everything's going to adjust, but it still tells you what it's doing. So for preheat, it's gonna run at 400 degrees for 4 minutes at a 4 fan speed. If you do reheat, we're running at a 4 fan speed still, 390, you get the idea. The cool thing is watching this fan speed. So obviously the dehydrator, it's gonna run at a low temperature for 6 hours, and you could up that to, let's see the max hours that it will go for. Whoa, it'll go 24 hours. It'll go a full day on the dehydration, and the fan speed is really, really low. Obviously, because you want everything low, you're drying that meat or that fruit out. That's really cool. When we hit bake, it's gonna automatically go to 20 minutes at 330 with a fan speed of 3, because you don't need as much air circulation when you're not trying to get that crispy friedness. Proofing, this is awesome. I cannot wait. I'm not gonna do it in this video, but I can't wait to experiment with proofing my bread inside of this air fryer. Aside of the presets, we also have what we would call modes. So when we have air fry, we have roast, we have broil, and we have frozen. Now all of those are in a fan speed of 5 because that's what they're calling turbo mode. So basically each one of these are going for the quickest cook time with the best accuracy. And the fan is such a crucial part of the air fryer because it circulates that heat in a way that it's supposed to get it heated and cooked all evenly, even up underneath. All right, so I'm gonna get this thing thoroughly cleaned. I'm gonna run it dry for 10 minutes to get to season and get it all heated up and warmed and ready to go. And then we're gonna be ready for our chicken breast test against my current favorite air fryer. So the very first thing I like to do whenever I take chicken out of its package is I like to dab it on some paper towels to get all of those packaging juices off of the chicken. Now there's 2 secrets I have to cooking the perfect chicken breast. The first secret is that most chicken breast is a little bit too thick to cook really, really well without getting a tough outside, but making sure that the inside is completely cooked, because of course, the entire piece of chicken needs to come up to 165 degrees to make sure it's safe to eat. So what I do is I like to take the chicken, I take the kind of rough side, put that down so I can see the presentation side first, and I take my knife and I just slice it right down the middle. So I just open that up just like that. It evens out the chicken breast more than it was, and it's gonna cook nice and even and a little bit quicker, and your edges aren't gonna be tough and burnt. All right, next I'm gonna take just a little bit of avocado oil and put it on the breast, and I'm just gonna rub it around nice on both sides. To bring out that natural flavor of the chicken breast, I'm just gonna put a generous amount of salt on the chicken breast. My second secret weapon to cooking the perfect chicken breast is an internal thermometer, a probe thermometer. Please, please, if you're cooking in your own kitchen, you're cooking meat of any kind, please invest in a probe thermometer. Now, when you use the probe thermometer, you want to find the thickest part of the meat, and you want that probe to go into that thickest part of the meat, because we want to make sure that the thickest part reaches 165 degrees. I'm just feeling my way through it. It's kind of fun, makes me feel like a surgeon. Now I've got this set to 165 degrees and we're ready to pop it into the air fryer. Now I said I was gonna compare this to my current favorite air fryer. I'm gonna do that in just a second. So I'm gonna run this one first, the other one second, but just pretend like we did it at the exact same time. I'm also gonna set a timer to see how long it takes the chicken in air fry mode to reach 165 degrees. All right, we're ready to pop this thing in. I'm just gonna, the surface area of this basket is really nice, especially when I'm using a meat probe so I can have that extra room. All right, so on the air fryer, we're gonna select air fry mode. It's gonna put us at a 385 degrees. That's pretty good. And I'm gonna actually up the time to 15 minutes just in case. I don't think we're gonna go that long. I've got my alarm set on the thermometer. It will tell me as soon as this chicken is ready to come out. So here we go. I'm gonna push start on the clock and start on the air fryer. There it is, 165 in 10 minutes and 9 seconds. Let's turn this off so it doesn't cook anymore. Oh, look at this. This looks pretty good. It looks really juicy. We'll find out how tender it is in just a second. Let's cut her open and give it a go. There's a crispness to the outside for sure. Cooked very evenly on the inside. Now for the real test, the taste test. Let me get an edge piece so I can see if those edges dried out at all. There is a crispiness on the outside of the breast. It's really good actually, and the inside stayed pretty tender. The middle is phenomenal. So good. All right, so the Cosori took 10 minutes and 9 seconds to cook this breast perfectly juicy with a nice little bit of crispy on the outside. So this has been my current favorite air fryer. So I'm gonna pull this basket out. I've already filleted, oiled, and salted our next chicken breast. And because we did 385 on that air fryer, we're going to take the temp to 385. Well, we can't hit 385. It's either 390 or 375. That's unfortunate. So we'll go 390, 5 degrees difference. And then I'm going to up, oh, the time's already on 20, so I'm going to take the time down to 15. Once again, reading this LED compared to reading that LED is a very different experience, as you can already see. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start on our timer and start on our air fryer, and we're going to see how it does. One thing I'm noticing already is that the sound difference is deafening. No pun intended. The Cosori is way quieter than the Ninja. We run the Ninja in the kitchen, and actually when we're running the Ninja in the kitchen, we know as a family, we just can't really talk to each other. Might even be hard to hear me right now over it. There we are, stop, power. So inside the Ninja, we came in at 15 minutes to cook this chicken breast. Now I know there are variables on the piece of chicken, the size of the air fryer, all that sort of stuff, but this was supposedly cooking at 190 degrees. This one was cooking at 185, and it still took 5 more minutes to cook the chicken inside this. Now let's take a look and see how it actually cooked. Moment of truth, here we go. That's hot, of course, duh. It's like the most obvious thing people say in cooking videos. Oh, that's hot. It looks cooked all the way through and very consistently. Edge piece first. There's a bit more crunch to it, and I am gonna tell you, it is drier. Let's get something from the middle. That's more dry too. No question. The longer you have to cook chicken to get it done, the more it has the opportunity to dry out. This one was so tender and moist. This one, it's edible, I would serve it, but it's definitely drier. All right, the next thing I wanna cook with you is some very simple vegetables, broccoli and cauliflower. Now, for the love of everything that is holy, please, please, please stop steaming and microwaving your broccoli and cauliflower. It is a sin, it makes it floppy and soggy, and nobody wants to eat it. Okay, maybe you like it, but I can't stand it. What I love to do with my broccoli and cauliflower is I love to broil it. And what it does is it cooks it just al dente. So there's still a little bit of crisp inside of the vegetable. It actually feels like a vegetable rather than mashed potatoes. And it starts to char just a little bit of the flowerets on the edges of both the broccoli and the cauliflower. And that char and the al dente cook and the warmth, oh, and it's so delicious. First thing I do is just a little bit of avocado oil. The next thing is minced garlic. So I'm gonna take a couple spoonfuls of minced garlic. And then the next thing is salt. We really wanna bring out the flavor of that cauliflower and the broccoli. So I'm gonna get some really generous pinches of salt. Then I'm just gonna get my hands in there, get it all mixed around, get that garlic everywhere, get that salt everywhere. So in this test, we're testing the broil mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump these into the basket. We're gonna hit the broil mode. Now the Cosori cookbook says to cook this amount of broccoli and cauliflower at 425. So I'm gonna take it down to 425. And it says to go for 5 to 7 minutes. I'm gonna go for 5, check it out. I may even do a slight toss, and I will do a slight toss in the middle there. So at about 3 minutes, I'm gonna open up, take a look, give it a toss so those pieces can move around, and then finish it out. So I'm just gonna keep 5 minutes on the timer, and let's go. Okay, we're at 3 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and pause that for just a second, check in on it, give it a little tumble. I don't think that 5 minutes is gonna get us there. So I'm gonna pop this back in. Now here's one thing I don't know, can I add time while I'm mid-cook? So I'm gonna push go again, and then just see if we can add, we can, beautiful. We can add some time. So I gotta tell you, as this broccoli cauliflower is finishing up, there's a reason I called this channel Noob's Kitchen. That's because I wanted it to be real and honest about, I'm not a chef, I'm actually not even that great at cooking. I'm just learning. And as I learn things, I want to share them with you as I have successes, as I have failures. I did this wrong. I totally meant to do this in roast mode rather than broil. Now, what I typically do in the oven is I usually roast them for about 8 minutes, and then I will broil them to get that crispiness for maybe 4 minutes, and it gets that cook that I really like. We'll see how this turns out. I don't think it's a huge problem. I am gonna check and make sure that the fan speed, I'm guessing the fan speed is a little bit less on the roast. I don't wanna pretend like I know exactly what I'm doing and I never make any mistakes. That is 7 minutes in the broil mode with this broccoli and cauliflower. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have here. Oh, this looks actually really good. Exactly the crispness I love on the flowerettes. All right, maybe my mistake was a secret. Let's pretend like that's the secret. The cookbook tells you to do roast, but man, broil is killer. It's a little more crunchy than I usually have it. That's gonna be the benefit of the roast, is that it's gonna cook it a little bit more. It's gonna like bake it a little bit more, and then I could move it to the broil to get that crispiness. Still delicious, absolutely would serve it. It has that crisp, that crunch to it with a little bit of soft on the outside and then the crunch in the flowerettes. In the Cosori, it was 7 minutes. In the oven, it absolutely takes me 12 to 13 minutes to get this same cook out of my vegetables. All right, so the next test that I wanna do with you is some garlic Parmesan toast. It's one of our favorite side dishes here at the house, and we're gonna use the broil mode on the Cosori. Now, we already accidentally used the broil mode, but we're gonna use it again to crisp up this toast with some Parmesan, some garlic, and some butter. So I'm just gonna give us some nice angled slices off of this French baguette here. So the secret to my garlic Parmesan toast is the mixture of butter that we use to go on before we actually put the Parmesan cheese on. So what I've got here is some Kerrygold Irish butter. Then I get a little bit of minced garlic. Once again, we're gonna put that in there. And we're gonna just put just a little bit of Italian seasoning inside of this as well. Now I'm gonna microwave this for about 7 seconds so that we melt that butter up, and then we're gonna baste the bread with it. So I take my basting brush, scoop some of that garlic, and I generously brush our toast here. I'm gonna get a little bit of a broil on these before I put the cheese over the top so that we can make sure we get some crunchiness. Hopefully, these don't get blown around. All right, I'm gonna put it on broil. I am gonna check it after the first little while to make sure that it's not getting blown and tipped over and all that sort of stuff. So let's start. By the way, it does turn off when you open the drawer, which I love. And it automatically starts when you push it back in. Looks like the bread was getting pushed around a little bit, but not too much to worry about. We're starting to get some crispiness around the edge of the bread. That's exactly when I wanna put this cheese on. So now I'm gonna take Parmesan flakes. When I put these on, I just wanna spread them out just a little bit. If they're too big, I break them up a little bit. I don't want them too much on the edge of the bread because that's where I want my crunchiness. Because what we're going for here is a varied texture. So we want that crunchy crisp on the outside around the edges of the crust of the bread. We want the inside of the bread to be really soft and moist. The butter helps so much with that. And then we have the creaminess of the Parmesan cheese on top, and all of it comes together. When I think about the things that I want to make, I really think about how do we add a complexity of not just flavor, but also texture. I think texture is so underrated when we think about what it is that we're making and how we can get different textures into a single dish or a single bite. All right, so I'm gonna pop these back in. All right, oh baby. Oh baby, this looks so good. This was probably a total of about 4.5 minutes. Typically when I do this kind of roasting or broiling in the oven, I'm in it about 7 minutes with the 2 phases. So I just want you to take a look at this. This is the delicious meal that we just made in the air fryer. I absolutely have to try these toast. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. I wish you could taste it, but you should make it at home so you can. All right, so the next test I want to do with you is the classic chicken nuggets, frozen French fries. Now, we get these chicken breast chunks at Costco, and they are so good. So we're going to grab some chicken nuggets. These French fries are delicious. They've got, I don't know if it's breading on the outside or just a little bit of seasoning, but they got a little zhuzhing going on that is so delicious. We're gonna pop this tray back in. Now the mode that we're going to use this time is frozen. That hits it at 390 for 14 minutes. Now, if you look at the Cosori cookbook, when it talks about frozen chicken nuggets, it says to do it at 385 for about 7 minutes. So obviously this doesn't know what you're putting in. I'm gonna take the time down to about, let's do 8 minutes, but I'm gonna check it at 4. All right, breading on the chicken nuggets, not crispy enough for me. Well, some of them. So this one's crispy enough. The larger pieces, still just a little bit soggy, crispy around the edges. If I were to do this again, I would cook the chicken nuggets probably for a minute to a minute and a half, and then add the French fries. Because I think, I'm gonna bite into them in just a second, but I think these French fries are absolutely perfect. That's it. That's the perfect French fry. Now I'm gonna try this bigger nugget because this is the one that I suspect is a little bit soggy. Warm throughout the nugget, great temperature throughout the whole nugget, still juicy, still tender, great crunch on the top, soggy on the bottom. So what it needed is when I took it out to give it a little shake, these really need to be turned over. All right, now for the thing that just absolutely shocked me. I've never seen it done before in an air fryer, but we're gonna actually create soft boiled eggs inside the Cosori. I don't know if it's gonna work. It seems very unconventional, a little bit weird. I've got some fresh eggs from our chickens outside. You can even see some of the straw still on those eggs. That's the beauty of having fresh eggs. What's a little bit of straw in your scrambled eggs in the morning? Not a big deal. So basically what it says to do is take the eggs, place them on the tray. We're gonna take these eggs, we're gonna pop them in. They didn't stay spread out. Okay, this is, okay. Settle down. Settle down there, little egg. All right, we're gonna carefully put the drawer in. We're gonna use the bake mode, which turns the fan speed down to 3. And we're gonna bake it at, it says to do it at 270. For soft boiled eggs, it says 11 minutes. For medium boiled eggs, it says 13 minutes. For hard boiled eggs, it says 15 minutes. So we're gonna go down to 11. We're gonna cross our fingers and we're gonna go. If this is good, if this is perfect, this is gonna be awesome. All right, let's open it up very carefully. And then very quickly, we're gonna take these eggs and get them into the ice water. We're gonna let them sit in the ice for just a second, and then I'm gonna show you my favorite secret about peeling boiled eggs. I hope it works on camera. Okay, so these have had a minute to cool down. We're gonna take a look and see how they did. All right, so my trick for peeling boiled eggs is this. So you have a more pointed end of the egg, and you obviously have a more rounded end of the egg. I just take a spoon and I gently tap on the bottom side, that more rounded side of the egg, until you hear a little pop. Now you're not actually cracking the shell, you're popping the membrane that's inside that holds the shell tight to the egg. So let's see if I can get this on the mic. Did you hear that? And if you could see this really close, the eggshell is not cracked. What that pop was that inside membrane breaking up. So now we're gonna peel these. Now it should peel really nice and easy. And it's not, of course. Of course. Destroying it. Yeah, this one was a fail. Yeah, we got wiggly whites here. Wiggly whites. That's not a soft-boiled egg. A soft-boiled egg is where our whites are completely solid and there's a liquid consistency to the yolk. So let's just pop this open and see how the yolk did. There is a little bit of a cook to the yolk, but man, I couldn't there's no way I could do the wiggly whites, especially when we're putting it in ramen, something like that. Let's see if there's a better one. The good news is I think it works. The bad news, not bad news, but just the information, the learning is, I think they actually need to cook a little bit longer than the cookbook says. Wiggly whites, tons of the white came off with the shell. That's just not a good cook. Let's check out the cook on the yolks. This is the one that had some issues. See that yolk? That's a perfect soft-boiled cook on a yolk. Man, this one is the one where all the whites are cooked well. Oh, baby. That's closer to a medium. So the results are super inconsistent. And again, the cook on that yolk is really perfect for a soft-boiled egg. So not the life-changing experience that I really hoped it would be, but kind of a cool idea. If I could get them to peel right, I'll be testing and experimenting a bit more with it to see if I can get it to work the way I want it to work. All right, my friends, I've had a blast making this video and testing the Cosori TurboBlaze with you. Final thoughts. I'm really impressed. I think it's super easy to use. The 6-quart capacity is awesome. I can fit tons of things in there for a couple of people, if not for 4 people. The controls are super easy to use and very easy to see. It's very intuitive. The temp on one side, the time on one side, the bright LED, the quiet beeping of the buttons, the quiet running of the actual unit is gonna change the way we get to hang out in the kitchen when we're cooking with the air fryer. I love the idea of all of the settings. Even though I messed a couple of them up, I love the idea of the boiled eggs. I'm gonna perfect them. I'm gonna figure out if they can work. There's so many features about this thing. I'm so grateful to Cosori for sending it. My aim for these videos is always not to just do a review of a piece of equipment, but also to learn some things around cooking, maybe give you some new ideas of things that you can cook at home. And I hope this video has done that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it with people you think will like it. Peace, love you, bye, happy cooking.